What is up, guys? It's me, the ALE Double X Prince, and now you're expecting the continuation of Eddie Guerrero's What If He Never Died. I am continuing that sometime in the week, but I wanted to do a side rebook, if you will, and that is how I would have rebooked Becky Lynch's return to the WWE after she had to vacate the title and be a mother. She basically took off, and we were waiting for her. People were begging, like, "Oh, when is Becky Lynch gonna come? Oh, is she ready? Like, will she be ready for WrestleMania 37?" Unfortunately, she wasn't. We all thought she was gonna be the one to attack Bayley instead of the Bella twins, but what can you do? So I was just like, when are we gonna get um freaking Bayley? Becky Lynch, and we all thought maybe at SummerSlam we'll do her fight for the Raw Women's Championship or something like that. But I guess they gave it to Nikki Ash just to give it back to Charlotte, who was being booked like shit because of Ric Flair and Andrade. And then she ended up returning to face Bianca Belair, babyface versus a babyface. So okay, it could be fun. I want to see how she wins. She squashes Bianca Belair, turning her heel. Yet nobody really likes her as a heel. Like, did we learn anything from 2018? Remember when they tried to make Becky Lynch the heel and Charlotte the babyface in 2018? Look where that led to. It led to Becky Lynch getting over as the babyface and Charlotte as the heel, and they got no choice but they had to reverse the roles. So it's like, dude, just give us a babyface Becky Lynch. Now there is room for her to turn heel, but not right away. Let's build to the heel turn. Don't just turn a heel just because you feel like it. Let's build it up. So here is how I would have rebooked Becky Lynch's return to the WWE in 2021. So we'll start off at Money in a Bank, where Charlotte wins the Raw Women's Championship yet again. And then we have the rematch the following night in the main event, where Rhea Ripley gets hurt and Charlotte wins via countout. And like, it wasn't a fair fight. People are booing. And then, boom, whoa. Becky Lynch comes to Monday Night Raw. Now, that is a big hit. People are going to be wondering why, like, what the hell is going to happen. And people are excited because Becky Lynch is back. The next night on Raw, Becky Lynch comes out, cuts a promo how she talks about how she is ready to fight the Raw Women's Championship. And then we have Charlotte Flair come out, talk about how, like, you were gone for so long, we had to carry this division by ourselves. Like, hell, I had to carry NXT and then they took me out. But it's now my time to shine. Just because you're back doesn't mean I'm going to let you take the spotlight. And, then Rhea Ripley comes. They talk about how she didn't get a fair shot. And then they announce that it's going to be a triple threat match at SummerSlam. Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, and Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. Meanwhile, the Money in a Bank winner, Naomi, not Nikki Ash, will be talking to all three of these girls individually. She's gonna be kind of like the will she, won't she cash in? Like there's rumors on the dirt sheets that Naomi might cash in the middle of the match, making it a fatal four-way and then pin Becky Lynch or something like that. People are like skeptical, like, whoa, what is Naomi gonna do? So there's that in mind, as well as, like, you just build up all three. And I think it would be great if Becky Lynch does not compete until SummerSlam. Let's keep her doing promos. Let's keep her, like, on commentary. Let's have Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair do most of the wrestling. And something you should know, this is important later. In the meantime, Nia Jax and Shayna Basler are splitting up, and Shayna Basler goes on a tear, taking out Nia Jax out of TV. And Shayna Basler is now this, like, dominant heel back like when she debuted in 2020, like early stages of Raw 2020. Like, we're getting NXT Shayna Basler basically. So keep that in mind. Now, the SmackDown Women's Championship main event, or SmackDown Women's Championship match scheduled for SummerSlam, is Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, the rematch. But because of COVID and because of whatever Sasha Banks did, she is not welcome back, or she's not vaccinated. I don't know the full story, but Bianca Belair, we do not show the video package of the match because that match doesn't happen anyways, and that's just a big fat waste of time. So Bianca Belair comes out. People are waiting for Sasha Banks. There's like rumors of she might not even be there. Then Carmella comes out, cuts a promo saying that she's not going to waste this opportunity. She is never got a fair shot rematch from Bianca Belair. She claims that she could be the SmackDown Women's Champion. Then Bianca Belair and Carmella is set. The match goes like 2-3 minutes, and Carmella injures Bianca Belair in those 2-3 minutes, but then Bianca Belair still beats Carmella. Bianca Belair is still your SmackDown Women's Champion until Naomi comes out of nowhere with a briefcase, knocks her down, cashes in, and now Naomi's the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Like we thought she was gonna cash in on the Raw Women's Champion. Nope, she cashes in on the SmackDown Women's Championship. So plot twist. Meanwhile, in that epic triple threat match, let's have fun with it. Let's have Charlotte like get her ass kicked in the first 2 minutes, and then we tease Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. Segue to like their NXT match that led to nothing. Unfortunately, we never got a result to that match, but this could be like them teasing an eventual one-on-one match between the two. But then Charlotte Flair doesn't allow it, and the match goes about as you can imagine. And then Charlotte Flair looks like she's gonna put the figure 4 on Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch reverses it, puts the armbar on her. Charlotte taps out, and Becky Lynch is your new Raw Women's Champion. So Becky Lynch is now the Raw Women's Champion yet again. And let's have Charlotte like feud with Alexa Bliss. They could fight without the belt. Rhea Ripley is gonna take a little time off just to like make sure she's like 100%. And sometimes it's good for wrestlers to take a break. Like I don't think they should be on TV all the time. Let's give them a rest. Like people suggested that Drew McIntyre should take a little break and then come back once people are not like sick and tired of him or something like that. You could do that with Rhea Ripley. I think with Rhea it's more fair just because like she's still kind of brand new. But Becky Lynch is back as the champion. She doesn't have a challenger. So Shayna Basler comes out talk about how she has unfinished business with Becky Lynch after WrestleMania 36, and Becky's like, "Oh yeah, Shayna Basler, yeah, weren't you the girl who lost to me and then got irrelevant as time went on? That they had no choice but to put her with Nia Jax, another woman who was irrelevant before I showed up." So we go back and forth, and we continue the feud that never got finished. So at Extreme Rules, because it's Extreme Rules, we're going to have multiple stipulations. So let's make this one a submission match. One of them has to tap out, and we'll pull like an Austin and Brett kind of moment where Shayna Baszler is bleeding. Becky Lynch is making... she's actually putting Shayna Baszler on her sleeper hold, switching her finisher, and then Shayna Baszler passes out. She doesn't tap out, similar to Brett and Austin from WrestleMania 13, because we're gonna make Shayna Baszler a star in this process, as well as turning Becky Lynch heel. I think there's a way we could turn her heel without her being like overblown and overshadowed, like to the point where it's like cringy as fuck. Anyways, and as this goes on, Becky Lynch is now still on the top, and then on draft day. The main event of the draft, that episode of SmackDown, the one that we just got this Friday, instead of Sasha, Bianca, and Naomi, and Lynch, I should say, the main event of that will be Naomi, Bianca Belair, and Sasha Banks, a triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. That's your main event, okay? So, in the match, Bianca Belair regains the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, earlier on the show, she was announced that she gets drafted to Raw. Meanwhile, Becky Lynch gets drafted to SmackDown. And then after the match, Becky Lynch congratulates her. They swap belts, they shake hands, and then Becky Lynch pulls her closer like, "I'm coming, like, I'm still the best," or something like that, just a teaser. And then in the process, now that Bianca Belair is on Raw doing her thing, Becky Lynch is going to be the star of the women's division on SmackDown, because I think SmackDown now could use her. I think she needed to finish her story on Raw to move her to SmackDown, but now Becky Lynch is on SmackDown, and she's still a face. And Naomi still wants a rematch to the Raw Women's Championship. So in the meantime, she'll continue a feud with Naomi and Sasha Banks back and forth. And then Survivor Series hits. Bianca Belair is on a roll as well. And at Survivor Series, it's going to be Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. And the story is that Bianca Belair wants to pin all 4 horsewomen. She's pinned Charlotte, she's pinned Bayley, she's pinned Sasha Banks. She still needs to pin the man. So this is the match that we do for Raw versus SmackDown. This goes like a good maybe 15, 17 minutes. And afterwards, it looks like Bianca Belair might actually win the match until Becky Lynch cheats to win. And, while the ref is not looking, she does some shitty thing to Bianca Belair where she has to cheat to win. And Becky Lynch wins the match. People are booing her because Bianca Belair is this top baby face, and Becky Lynch is just now being super rude. And she talks about how, listen, the more victories I get, the more money I get as to be a great mother to my new baby. She's basically saying that she's just trying to get as many victories as she can because that's where the paychecks will come. The more wins, the more money you make. And she needs the money to, pay for her kid, but she's doing it the wrong way. And this is when you slowly start building up Liv Morgan. What does Sasha Banks and Naomi do around this time? I'm going to sound shitty, but I think they could do a great tag team. Naomi and Sasha Banks, throw them together, turn them heels, kind of like a Team Bad reunion, and then they could go after the SmackDown Women's Championship. I know it's shitty, but I think Sasha and Naomi could carry the SmackDown Women's division. But around this time, Liv Morgan is getting a big push after getting multiple victories over Carmella. So at whatever the December pay-per-view is, Liv Morgan finally gets her moment. It's Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, SmackDown Women's Championship. During the build, Liv Morgan talks about how she's never gotten an opportunity and that if she beats the man, she's going to be the top face of the women's division. Unfortunately, Becky Lynch beats Liv Morgan. And now you start to see that Becky Lynch is more heelish. She's more shittier. But this makes Liv Morgan a star in the process. Sometimes if you just have a great match with somebody, you could be a star. I believe TLC is going to be the pay-per-view for December. So for the Raw Women's side, it's going to be Bianca Belair versus Shayna Basler. Shayna Basler is your new Raw Women's Champion, taking the belt off of Bianca Belair. This is important later. Meanwhile, Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch, the feud is going red hot, and we continue the feud at the Royal Rumble. And Becky Lynch still beats Liv Morgan. Then the Royal Rumble winner for the women of the Royal Rumble 2022, the winner will be Rhea Ripley, and she will face Becky Lynch. Rhea Ripley's on Raw, but she'll go to SmackDown to finally get the match that she's always wanted, the match that everybody clearly wants to see, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Now Becky Lynch is officially a full heel. They don't like her anymore. They don't like how shitty she's being, but Rhea Ripley says that it's time for a change in the women's division. It's time for some new faces to step up the game. You may have beaten the likes of Naomi, Liv Morgan, Belair, but you're not going to beat me, Becky. You never got the chance to pin me, or make me tap out, and you still won't. So that's the build for WrestleMania. Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. What do we do with the Raw Women's Championship? I just gave it to Shayna Baszler. I'm pretty sure Charlotte is going to get shoehorned into the Raw Women's Championship picture. But at the same time, Bianca Belair is in top over Babyface. So I think it'll be cool. And I know people don't like to throw many women in one match. So I don't give a shit. Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte Flair. I think those three women will have great chemistry for the Raw Women's Championship. Obviously, I'd have Bianca Belair win, but if not, I'm pretty sure that in that scenario, we'll give it to Charlotte just because that's how WWE is. But for WrestleMania 38, Becky Lynch faces Rhea Ripley, and the winner is Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley could be the face of women's division, depending on whether you want to give him to Raw or SmackDown. She had her time on Raw, it didn't work out, so she had no choice but to move to SmackDown and be the face there. Sometimes you just got to move and be creative with all of this. And I don't know what you guys think about this rebooking. It was just fun. Keep in mind, I want you to keep this in mind. I did not read any notes. I did not think of anything. All I did is I had a conversation at my job. My friend's a wrestling fan, and then we just talked about how Becky Lynch could have been better if she started as a babyface, and then we just started writing this shit down and just talked about it. And I don't have any notes. I'm literally just talking as we speak. Anyways, that's gonna be it. What do you guys think of this rebooking of Becky Lynch? Continue the whole writing for Eddie Guerrero down the road. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and until then, I'm out.